Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Welcome to our series of lectures about semantics and pragmatics. This is going to be lecture 6. We're going to continue our discussion of sense relations in this lecture, which is a continuation of the previous lecture where we talked about synonymy and antonymy. Today we're going to look at some more sense relations, starting with hyponymy. So what is hyponymy? It's a sense relation between words in which the meaning of one word is included in the meaning of the other word. So here there is a notion of inclusion that is involved within the sense relation of hyponymy. So, for example, if we look at tulip and rose, we notice that the meaning of tulip and rose is included in the meaning of flower. So flower encompasses the meaning of both tulip and rose and other names for flowers. Also the meaning of lion and cow. Both are encompassed or included within the meaning of animal. They are also included within the meaning of mammal. So look at the diagram that we have here. Here we have the set of all animals, and within it, included within this set of animals, we have the set of all cows or all lions. So here, as we said, we have the sense or the notion of inclusion, and this is what we call hyponymy. So again, basically, it's including the meaning of one word within another word. The other term here is called the superordinate. So the term that includes the other terms is called the superordinate, and the lower term, the term that is included, like cows within animals, cows is called hyponym. So these are terms we use to talk about these two terms, the upper term and the lower term. So here we have an example. The meaning of scarlet, this is the color scarlet, is included in the meaning of red. So we say that red in this example is the superordinate because it includes the meaning of scarlet, and scarlet here is called a hyponym of red. If the superordinate term has more than one hyponym, it is possible to have more than one hyponym. Like we said, tulip and rose, they are both under flower, so these are more than one hyponym. We can have a lot of hyponyms under one superordinate. We call these hyponyms, relationship, when we relate them to each other, co-hyponyms. So if there is more than one, we call these co-hyponyms. So look at the superordinate emotion. This superordinate term has the hyponyms of fear, anger, happiness, sadness, and other terms for emotion. You can go on as much as you can think of words for emotions. We say that fear is a co-hyponym of anger, and anger is a co-hyponym of happiness, and happiness of sadness, and also sadness of anger, and so on. So all of these lower terms, when they come under the same superordinate, we call them co-hyponyms. A hyponym can in itself be a superordinate term for another hyponym. So to make this clearer, the word tulip, we said, is a hyponym of flower. Flower in itself is a hyponym of plant. So we have plant, and plant is a superordinate. Under plant we have flower. And flower itself can be a superordinate, and under flower we have rose or tulip, etc. So in cases like this, we say that flower is an immediate hyponym. So if it comes directly under it, if it's a direct hyponym of it, we call it an immediate hyponym of plant. And tulip is an immediate hyponym of flower. Tulip is also a hyponym of plant, but it is not immediate. So if there is another level between them, we don't call them immediate hyponyms. To make this clearer, look at this diagram. So we have the term plant, we have flower, and we have tulip. So plant is a superordinate, and under it comes flower. We say that flower is an immediate hyponym. Look at the arrow, immediate hyponym of plant. Flower in itself is a superordinate, and under flower comes tulip, and tulip is called an immediate hyponym of flower. Tulip is also a hyponym of plant, but not immediate, okay, because there is flower between them. So tulip is called a hyponym of plant, but it is not an immediate hyponym. We said that there are superordinate terms, but this is not always the case. Sometimes we will have hyponyms, but we will not have superordinate terms. For instance, there is no superordinate term in English to cover a variety of crafts, like carpenter, doctor, flute player, and other names of crafts and jobs. But the nearest possible term that we can use in English is craftsman. But craftsman doesn't include doctor and flute player. So we can't really think of a word in English for carpenter, doctor, or flute that can be a superordinate of these hyponyms. However, this differs from language to language. So hyponym relations vary from language to language. For example, in Greek, we have a superordinate term to include a variety of occupations like carpenter, doctor, flute player, etc. So in Greek, there is a word that is a superordinate of these hyponyms, but in English we don't have one. So this relationship differs from language to language. We talked about synonymy before. If we examine synonymy, we can see it as a special case of hyponymy. So if you look at two synonyms like mercury and quicksilver, those are synonyms, we notice that these also illustrate the hyponymy relationship. How is that? We see that the meaning of one is included in the other one. We said that hyponymy is the meaning of a word included in another word. So mercury is included in quicksilver, and also at the same time, this is a special case, quicksilver is included in mercury. So both ways, the meaning of one is included in the other in the case of synonymy. We call this special case of hyponymy symmetrical hyponymy. So synonymy is called symmetrical hyponymy because it works both ways. So we can see that synonymy is actually a special case of hyponymy. If you want a rule to state this, we say that if X, so X can be any word, so X can be mercury, for example. If X is a hyponym of Y, Y can be quicksilver. So X is mercury, Y is quicksilver, or any other example of examples of synonymy. If X is a hyponym of Y and Y at the same time is a hyponym of X, then X and Y are synonyms. So if mercury is a hyponym of quicksilver and at the same time quicksilver is a hyponym of mercury, then mercury and quicksilver are synonyms. And you can do that with other examples of synonymy if you wish. Okay, moving on to another sense relation, which is the last one we're going to talk about. These are actually two related sense relations, polysemy and homonymy, and we will see how they are related to each other. Let's start with polysemy and give a definition. So what is polysemy? It is a sense relation in which the same word has several very closely related meanings. Of course, we're using meaning here as sense. Okay, if you remember that we said meaning can have more than one indication. We can use it to mean different things, but here we use meaning to refer to senses. So one word, the same word, has several very closely related meanings, and the word very closely related is important here. They must be really closely related, and we must be able to tell based on our intuition. As a native-like, if you're a native-like speaker, you will be able to tell. If you're a native speaker, more importantly, you'll be able to tell that these have closely related meanings. So look at the example that we have here. Here we have two words, earth and earth. Of course, earth here we mean the first one we mean by it is our planet, planet Earth, and the second one we mean soil, earth. Okay. So we call these two, they have the polysemous relationship. So the two senses are clearly related to the concept of land. So there is, if you look at Earth, the planet, we distinguish between it and the sky. Okay, and if you look at the soil itself, we distinguish between it and the sky and water, etc. So there is relationship between the two. Of course, in this case, a native speaker of the language will have clear intuition. He will be able to tell, are these closely related or not? Of course, so here we have the same word and it has different meanings, but they are closely related. As we said, the native speakers will have very clear intuition that the different senses are related to each other in some way. There is some way that they are related to each other. Like we said, with earth, the planet, and earth, the soil, the relationship is based on the concept of land. Homonymy, this is the second sense relation, and we're going to compare it with polysemy. Homonymy is a sense relation in which several words have the same shape. They look the same, or they sound the same, both, but different meanings that are far apart from each other. So you look at them, you look at both words, you see the same spelling, you hear the same pronunciation, but the meaning is far apart. There is nothing related between the two meanings. So look at this example. The word bank, when we use it as a financial institution, for example, I went to the bank to get some money, or I opened an account at the bank. This is the first word. The second word is the side of the river, the bank of the river. So these are two words, and they look the same, bank and bank. We pronounce them the same way. We pronounce bank and bank the same way. But the meaning is not related, really. There is nothing to say that there is something that is related, like in the case of polysemy. So bank here is a case of homonymy in English. And of course, as we said, in this case, the senses of the words are not obviously related to each other in any way. And this is clear to native speakers, and native-like speakers as well are able to tell that there is really nothing related between the two words, and so we look at them as homonyms. This is important for dictionary makers. So a dictionary maker needs to be able to decide whether the particular item he is defining and he is handling is either a polysemous term or a homonymous term. So is it a case of polysemy or homonymy? Why is that important? Because a polysemic item will be treated as a single entry in the dictionary. So we will have a single entry, and under the entry you will have different close related meanings in the case of polysemy. But in the case of homonymy, a homonymous one will have a separate entry for each of the homonyms. So they will not be treated as one word like in the case of polysemy. They will have a separate entry for each homonym in the dictionary. So the relationship between the two is very important to dictionary makers. They need to be able to distinguish whether the words the word or the meanings are related or not. If they are related, then this is a case of polysemy, and it will be one entry in the dictionary. If there is no really close relationship between the words, even if they look the same, even if they sound the same, then this is a case of homonymy, and it will be treated as a separate word. It will not be looked at as the same word, and if you look in the dictionary, you will see them in separate entries. Of course, this is the case, and this differs from dictionary to dictionary. So some dictionaries might not treat homonyms and polysemic words and items the same way. So it really depends on the point of view of the dictionary maker, and he needs to decide whether this is a polysemic item or a homonymous item. It is also important to note that there are cases where homonyms differ in either writing or speech. So there might be, we said they have the same shape, but sometimes the shape changes in writing, or the sound changes in speech. So we have an example here. We have lead, the metal, the lead, and lead, which is a dog's lead, the lead you use for dogs. So if you look at those, the shape is the same. They have the same spelling, but the way we pronounce them is different. So we say lead for the metal, and lead for the dog's lead. And also there is a verb, lead. So the pronunciation is different, but the spelling is still the same. So is this a case of homonymy or not? Yes, it is, and we have a special term for it that we will look at. But let's look at another example. We looked at an example where two words are pronounced differently but have the same spelling. We also have cases where we have different spellings but we have the same pronunciation. So look at words like sight and sight. So sight, S-I-T-E, compared with sight, S-I-G-H-T. So different spellings, different ways to spell them, but they are pronounced the same. Also look at right and right. Also, we pronounce them the same way, but the spelling is different. Write, R-I-T-E, and write, R-I-G-H-T. So different spellings, and yet they sound the same. So in writing, you will notice the difference between them, but in speech, you will not be able to tell the difference unless you look at the context in which the words appear. In the case of the previous example, you will not be able to tell the difference in writing unless it appears within a context, within a sentence. But in speech, you will be able to tell the difference. So as I said, we have specific terms that we can use for these examples. So for the former two examples, lead and lead, we use the term homography. Homography, okay, from graph to write. Graph is related to writing. So homography, words that are spelled the same or written the same. So homography is is a term that we use for examples like lead and lead. And for the latter, we use the term homophony. So homophony is so you notice the word phone, from phonology, from phone. So phone here is related to sounds, and so these words are pronounced the same, but the way they are written is different, like sight and sight, write and write, and other words and other examples of the same nature. So homography for words spelled the same, and homophony for words pronounced the same. You can look at these as two types of homonymy. Of course, we also have homonyms that are spelled and pronounced the same way, like we saw in the case of the word bank. So bank has the same spelling, has the same pronunciation, and yet it has two different unrelated meanings. So here we have three cases of homonymy. One in which the spelling and the pronunciation is the same, another one in which the spelling is different, pronunciation is the same, and the third one in which the spelling is the same but the pronunciation is different, and we have a term for each of these. So this concludes our discussion of sense relations. Of course, you need to have an idea about what we discussed previously, because when we move on to the next lecture, we're going to look at ways to tell the difference and to distinguish the meaning of term relationship to other semantic features, which we will look at in the next lecture in our discussion of componential analysis, components, and semantic features. So inshallah, I will see you in the next lecture. Hopefully you found this one interesting and useful, and I'll see you next time.